Hello, my fellow Americans and international friends, and welcome back into the Cal Report. Today is December 21st, 2021. We are coming to you today from the granddaddy of them all, as the late great Keith Jackson would say. So let's dive right into the history of it, shall we? So when we talk about the Rose Parade, the very first one was held on January 1st, 1890, a very long time ago. And for millions of people around the world, the Rose Parade is an iconic New Year's Day tradition, of course. The parade itself travels 5.5 miles down Colorado Boulevard, very close to here, and features a lot of floral decorated floats. It's worth noting more than 80,000 hours of combined service are supplied by 935 volunteer members of the Tournament of Roses Association. So the Rose Bowl game was originally known as the Tournament East-West Football Game. The first one ever played was at Tournament Park, also not too far from here, on January 1st, 1902. Michigan beat Stanford 49-0 in that contest. In fact, Stanford got their asses kicked so badly that it prompted the football part of the Tournament of Roses to be replaced with Roman-style chariot races inspired by the literary classic Ben-Hur. It wasn't until 1916, 14 years after the first game, when football was permanently reinstated as part of the tournament's traditions. And as we dive further into the history of the Rose Bowl game, it gets more and more fascinating. If you've been a loyal viewer of the Rose Bowl every New Year's Day, you might have asked yourself at one point in time, how come it's always between a Big Ten conference team and a Pac-12 team, at least when it's not part of the college football playoff, right? Well, that goes back to 1946, when that exclusive agreement with the Tournament of Roses Association and the aforementioned conferences took place, and the first game under that agreement happened on January 1st, 1947. That particular pact is the oldest intercollegiate postseason bowl agreement between two major conferences in the United States. This collegiate classic has also been the occasion of many firsts. The Rose Bowl game was the first local radio broadcast of an East-West Bowl game in 1926, the first transcontinental radio broadcast of a sporting event in 1927, the first local telecast of a college football game in 1948, the first national telecast of a college football game in 1952, the first coast-to-coast color telecast of a collegiate football game in 1962, and the first college football playoff semifinal in 2015. Perhaps the most famous one, at least in recent memory, and this pains me to say this because I'm a USC fan, was the 2006 Rose Bowl game, which of course that year served as the BCS National Championship game when Vince Young and the Texas Longhorns came in and beat Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and the USC Trojans in that Rose Bowl game. I still don't understand why Pete Carroll had his Heisman Trophy winner on the sideline on that important 4th and 1 when they handed the ball off to Lendale White. Not blaming Lendale White for not getting that first down at all, but come on, Pete, you got your Heisman Trophy winner on the sideline. I'll never understand that. So as the game comes back home to Pasadena this year after being held in Texas last year, you'll see the Ohio State Buckeyes taking on the Utah Utes. As of right now, I checked the line this morning before I came out here. Ohio State is about a 6.5-point favorite. Depends on where you go, at least when you're looking for odds. About 6.5, 7 points. The Buckeyes will be playing in their 16th Rose Bowl game. They're 8-7 in their previous 15 appearances, including a 28-23 win over Washington in Urban Meyer's final game as head coach on January 1st, 2019. As for Utah, the Utes will be making their very first appearance in the Rose Bowl after defeating the Oregon Ducks 38-10 in the Pac-12 championship game. Remember, Utah and Colorado joined the Pac-10 only 10 years ago, ultimately making it the Pac-12 conference. Now, before we go today, let's talk financials, shall we? So apparently the city of Pasadena needs $26 million over the next 5 years to cover its growing debt service obligations. Keep in mind, the stadium right behind me is 100 years old now. It's estimated that they will need $4.1 million in 2023, $10.5 million in 2024, and $17 million in 2025. Pasadena has already spent $11.5 million on a debt payment payment this year for the Rose Bowl. The outstanding debt number that Pasadena is staring at for the stadium is $197.72 million. That's a lot of money. Two of the anchor tenants, such as the UCLA Bruins, who play their home games here, of course, and the Tournament of Roses, who are both signed to long-term contracts, have seen a decline of more than 30% of net income. And according to city budget documents, attendance has dropped more than 60% compared to 5 years before. It'll be interesting to see how much of what I like to call COVID crap affects the overall flavor of this year's Rose Bowl events, and how much financially, right? Ticket holders for the Rose Parade and Rose Bowl game must show proof of the V or show proof of a negative test within 72 hours of the event. For those watching along the parade route, proof will not be required. Masks are required for the events, though. I don't know why. It's beautiful Southern California air. Don't you want to breathe it? It's worth noting that a series of events and shows across LA County have been canceled or postponed recently. So assuming that the parade and the game do happen, they should be entertaining as always. That's it for today. I really appreciate you guys watching my video as always. Be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment, or please subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate it, guys. That's what's going on in California. God bless, take care, and we'll see you all next time.